So this is how I look after 91 hours of absolute terrible sailing. We left Belize, north of Lighthouse Atoll, on Thursday at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It was 400 miles in northeasterly direction. So we thought we leave on Thursday afternoon. Then we've got a light northerly wind. Like that, we can take a tack to the east. Thought, well, these 400 miles, we're going to do them, even if it's upwind. We're going to do them in 3 days. That didn't work out. When we came out after already 2-3 hours, we realized that the seas were just terrible. It was like they were coming from everywhere. And it was raining. It was a little bit like if you would be sitting in a washing machine. Because of the waves, and it was short, the boat banged, it came up and then banged down. Then the wind wasn't from the north, but it was northeast from where we needed to go. So we had to start tacking from the very first moment. And, well, this is also me not having eaten anything, basically, for 90 hours, because I felt absolutely terrible. The wind was not that terrible, actually, below 15 knots. And then on Friday afternoon, so let's say 24 hours after we left, we got a major squall. Never seen anything like it. The wind meter gave us 70 knots. And perhaps therefore, the mainsail has delaminated. We realized that we had some water coming in on the starboard daggerboard, the connection between the daggerboard case and the floor. We first tried to put some bitumen and some pressure and towels, and then it became more. I mean, it was just running in. So then Fabio made a kind of a patch that we put that on. And that actually worked rather well until 24 hours later, when there were 2 other gaps appearing. We realized let's try to pull up the daggerboard like this. At least the water doesn't come up and fall down, and that works. So at that moment there, we had 1 daggerboard left. So that was Friday afternoon, evening. Then and then on Saturday afternoon, we looked at the other daggerboard, and it had fallen down. Fabio tried to get it up again, but that didn't work. So then we were a little bit worried, because we thought, we have to get into Cayo Largo, and it's not that deep. We really would like to get that board up. Attack. Good morning. It was Saturday night, and we were on a starboard tack. Wind changed 30 degrees, so I thought, let me tack. So I tried to go on a port tack, and the boat didn't react. And I heard kind of bang, bang, bang. Now we've heard lots of different bangs for the last 2 days, but this one was more a solid one. But most of all, I couldn't get the boat to turn. So I shouted at Fabio, who just jumped out of bed. In fact, we never got out of our clothes. And he went up there at night to check the daggerboard, and then unfortunately it was broken. So it was the part underwater that was still attached to the outer skin, and that was banging onto the hull. Now, of course, the problem was that now we did not have any daggerboards. I mean, we had lost the left daggerboard because it had broken off, and the right daggerboard, we couldn't put it down, because then seawater was basically just flowing into the boat. Now that means we cannot sail upwind. We were 180 nautical miles from Cayo Largo on the south coast of Cuba, which was the closest port on Cuba where we could check in. So either we would go under engine, because under engine, of course, I do not need the daggerboard. Or we should turn around 180 degrees and do 400 miles back to Rio Dulce. And then we decided we can do it 180 miles under engine. And then we went under engine for the next 36 hours. This was, I think, one of the worst trips we've ever had. And now the problem is we have to try to find out what's wrong. With calm this afternoon, I'm going to jump into the water and try how it looks. And of course, these 90 hours, that meant that for at least 90 times, probably 180 times, I was wondering, why am I doing this? So luckily there's nothing wrong on the outside. So we remove the board, chop it into pieces so that we can take it with us. And then, well, we mix some epoxy and repair the inside daggerboard cases. We then change the right daggerboard to the left side where the case isn't broken and go to Cienfuegos overnight. So like that, we are now on the main land.
Cuando Guarica y Chanchan en el mar sentían arena, como sacudía el jibe, a Chanchan le daba pena. Qué pena, compadre, qué pena. Aireando cero voy para Macalé, de Guacuete voy para Mayarí, limpia el camino de Para, que yo me quiero.
It's Monday morning, the 5th of January, and it's back to work for everybody. So we are also out cruising again. Yesterday we left Cienfuegos and we did a little bit, like 30 miles, and we came here to this Rio Hondo. There's a Rio coming out here. We are arriving in Cayo Largo, I think it's called. This was the closest, I think it was 20 miles from where we were, which was back there. We had actually hoped that that the wind that we had at a certain moment stayed, and we got a little bit further, but it didn't. And that's a nice thing of not having any plans. Just get up in the morning, put the sails, and see where the wind takes us. Literally. This doesn't look a bad place to spend the night. It's 3:30. We anchored on 3.5 meters. Pretty translucent water. And that's the main land, Cuba. And this is where the Jardines de la Reina start. And I just realised I haven't been on the water yet this year. So you know what? I'm going to have a dip. Dinghy ride. Pelicans. Some mangroves that have died. I don't know whether it's because of the hurricane. The Cuban weather gods are really quite good. I mean, we sailed 20-30 miles with a nice wind, 10-15 knots, and then just before sunset, of course, the wind dies completely, so that we are going to have another beautiful night. Besides the birds There is nothing, nobody around. See you tomorrow morning. So we are sailing inside the reef and to the next point. It's about 40 nautical miles. I've got 12 knots of wind, I think, from the northeast. And cruising Cuba is really cruising in the emptiness. So we thought, let's go and do some sightseeing. Well, let's go behind. People say there are some lobsters that we could pick up for lunch. Hai trovato uno? Io non ho visto nessuno.
Forse c'è un altro, ma perché c'è proprio un passo, un coso dove si stanno sotto.
Oh, I didn't find any lobsters, of course. I saw lots of other fish, but lobster number one. Fabio says it's dead, but it's still moving. There's still something moving there. He's signaling I have to come again. Let's see. I just hope I don't lose this one. Uh-oh. That one was definitely still alive. Sì, oh. Non prendi mica che lo che prendo Rita.
Perché poi mi si annoda tutto. Guarda sbragli in testa, ma fanno cervello. Non abbiamo preso il coltello, no?
No, mi sa di no, abbiamo sbagliato. So we're pulling up the anchor, but it looks like we got hooked. After we got the rope removed, leaving Cayo Largo behind us, the fishermen come in the morning, sleep here, and then go out again at night. It's 8:30 in the morning, so we thought, let us use the morning wind, and we are going to go here from Cayo Largo to Cayo Chocolate, 25 miles. See our first sailing boat. Cayo Chocolate, and in the end they're all the same. It feels like one is dinking through a forest. I don't know, what do I have as depth? 40 centimeters. Fabio says 30. So mangroves are a type of tree that filters the seawater. So usually, of course, if I put a normal tree in seawater, it dies out because it needs fresh water to live. But mangrove trees, there are several types of them, filter out the fresh water. So a little bit like our reverse osmosis that we have on board to produce drinking water from the sea. It's Sunday morning. I think it's the 11th of January today, and we are getting out of our anchorage. I think this one is called Cayo Rancho Viejo, but honestly, I mean, they are all the same. So there are all these shallows. There's also one in front of us, And that is actually one of the reasons that we were not here 20 years ago. 20 years ago, we cruised the Cuban south coast for 2 months together with my parents. They on their boat, we on our boat. So that was a great time. But at that time, there were no satellite pictures from which you now see all these shallows. There were no navionics charts. We actually navigated on a CD-ROM somebody gave us of a Russian electronic chart. So we were outside the reef. There is this reef the whole way out there, protecting these Jardines de la Reina where we are, and we were not in here. So much for no stress at all. There we were, and then suddenly the depths got down to 1.5, 1.4. This is where we spent the night at the anchorage, and we then went out and went on the west side of the island, where we encountered 1 meter depths, and we should, in hindsight, have gone up and then taken the channel here, the buoy channel. But we trusted the navionics indicated depths, which is a mistake, because everybody tells us, of course, that they aren't right. I mean, nobody has been surveying this area. Well, nothing happened. We'll just think twice next time. As the sun is setting, we put out the lines, and we first got a barracuda, but we threw that one back. This one looks like that's a good question. I don't know. But that is actually a perfect size.
Thank you.
Thank you, dinner. It's 5:30. And we have been motoring since 1:30, because we thought, you know what, let's just get out of these Jardines de la Reina. There is hardly any wind, and we need to get on our way to the Bahamas. So we are going to go to the Capo, which is there, and there wasn't really a place to stop the last 30 miles. So we thought, if we are going to motor for 5 hours, that's fine. Usually we don't like getting into an anchorage after the sunset, which of course will be the case. But Capo cruise should be fine. The buoys are lit, and people have left comments on the different apps, and that it shouldn't be a problem. Let's hope so. It's 8 o'clock. And we arrived in Cabo Cruz. Well, you can't see anything, but don't worry, we cannot see anything either. There were, though, 2 boys to follow. Oh, well, lightning. And it looks like I've got a sailing boat anchored up front. We anchored on 3 meter, and it's perfectly translucent water, mainly sand, a little bit of weed patches, but the anchor hooked in fine. So it's time for the arrival beer, and as always, we go to bed between 9 and 10. That's it. And there we are. It's 7:30 on Monday morning. I've got the reef behind me, sun coming up. This the other sailboat that we saw the anchor light yesterday. The lighthouse that is enormous and just gave this very, very little white light yesterday. Did not look like a lighthouse at all. And the red and green buoy on either side of the daggerboard. Now it looks inviting. Yesterday when we arrived 12 hours ago, pitch dark. It was scaring. It's funny what light does. So this is true sailing. The wind is still 10 knots. It's southeast, and we are tucking ourselves close hold under the coast, because generally you will have a current running from the east to the west, so that would be pushing us against us. But because of that main current, there is a counter current close to the coast running counter, so from the west to the east, and that is what we are benefiting from. The drift we lose because we only have one daggerboard left. This one on this side broke, and the case on the other side broke, so we moved that daggerboard to this side, so we only have one daggerboard. And only having one daggerboard, of course, means that we will have more leeway. But because of this counter current pushing up us along the coast, we actually managed to go upwind. And now we are on 200 meters, whereas we did the whole Jardines de las Reinas on less than 20. Good morning. It is a Tuesday, just after 6 o'clock in the morning. The sun comes up at 6:45. But it's relatively easy to come out of this Marea del Portillo, so because of course we've got the track on of when we came in. Having the morning coffee together with the sunrise, life isn't that bad. As you see, there's no wind at all, but honestly, we decided we are just going to continue. We can go into Santiago de Cuba at night. So, yeah, if we continue for more hours under engine, sometimes we switch it off for an hour, and then it's just enough wind to be sailing upwind. But otherwise, it is what it is. Then we'll be arriving in Santiago de Cuba at 8 tonight, and that gives us more options about when to leave for Bahamas, because there is no stop between Santiago de Cuba and the most southerly Bahamas island, Great Inagua. Adios, Santiago de Cuba. Adios, Cuba. We are going out of this very picturesque bay and turn to the left. And then we've got 160 miles to the closest island of the Bahamas. There is basically no wind, so we are probably going to motor for 30 hours. I don't know, but anything is better than bashing against this traditional northeast trade that I have here, particularly with only one daggerboard. We do not make good angles. Now, Santiago de Cuba is actually where we arrived in Cuba 20 years ago, actually 22 years ago now. And then we went from here all the way to Havana, so towards the west, whereas now Santiago de Cuba is the last place where we will be. Got some fishermen, they were also there tonight, this night when we came in, and there was hardly any lights, and of course they are in the channel. And their boats are made either, it looks of old surf boards, or the inside tubes of trucks. And they're all in this channel. So they were also there yesterday night when we arrived at 8. I was trying to slalom in between them. We almost got divorced. I want a lot of space between me and anything unknown, but that of course meant that I was too close to shore. Anyway, we managed. The Cubans are fantastic people. So while we were probably the only tourists around in Santiago de Cuba, they took care of us. So one after the other one acted as tourist guides, and almost all of them spoke Italian. God knows why. And they tell us about the way things are. And also from what we have seen now for the last month, it hasn't improved, let me say like this, for the Cubans in the last 20 years. Well, one of them told me that's because when Raúl came to power, so the brother of Fidel, which is I think about 10 years ago, he opened up society, and now people can actually have private enterprises. So basically everybody is trying to sell something, but that also means that the pricing goes up. You know, it's before everybody got sufficient money to buy the basic necessities that could only be bought in state shops, and nobody could own a house, and nobody of course could open any kind of private enterprise, except some renting out rooms to foreigners, and that's different now. So for the average Cuban, it's really quite tough to make ends meet. They're not particularly afraid of any American invasion. Yes, of course they're upset they don't have any more oil coming from Venezuela, but they think that's going to solve itself. I bought some newspapers, and the titles are, of course, "We are going to survive. Nothing of this revolutionary spirit of the Cubans have lost its value." Thursday morning at close to 8 o'clock, and we are approaching the corner. This has been the situation ever since we left yesterday afternoon. Completely flat sea. We tried the jib, we tried the code, but in the end there is just too little wind. We opened up the code. There's a little wind a little bit from behind, but then we thought that it helps a little bit the engine, and we had the port side engine running, and then suddenly the boat started vibrating, and so we stopped it. I filmed that it looked like something is stuck in the propeller, so we just decided we were going to roll the code so that the boat is more or less still in the water, and then go for a morning swim. And non lo so quanto posso misurartelo. Investigating the problem.
Pezzi di rete da pesca.
Fabio says un pezzo di rete da pesca, which means it's a fishing net, at least part of it. Yeah, that is definitely a piece of fishing net. We are rounding the point, and now it's 50 miles to Reina. and the wind is coming from the back, so we have put up the spinnaker. As I would say indicated in the owner's book that I wrote myself, the downwind speed is half of the true wind speed. So this is why we motored the whole night, so that we could have this passage from Cuba to Bahamas on these kind of absolutely perfect conditions. There are no waves. They are between 10 and 12 knots. We kind of forgot how cruising could be like, you know, when you just sail downwind as you're supposed to do. Yeah, giving the sun, it's just after 5 o'clock, and we will be arriving in Great Inagua at I think 7:30. There's still 18 miles or something like that to go. Welcome to the Bahamas. Remember when I arrived in Belize, it was rainy, it was overcast, and I said, well, if this is it, I wonder why I'm here. Well, that's the same feeling we got here. And this is also the end of the vlog on our month in Cuba. Thank you very much for watching, it's always appreciated.